recording?
Now we're recording.
All right. Okay. You didn't get any of that?
Okay. Welcome back, guys. Sorry for the delay. I don't know. It's going to be, 2 weeks ago now? We missed a show again. There's a bunch of stuff that went down, and I guess we'll cover some of it. But welcome back to another episode of Doomsday Doopy Doo. I'm Nick. I'm here with Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Nick. I thought we weren't.
We were
doing cold intro. What happened to cold?
We did. That's our cold intro.
No, that's not cold.
We were talking
warm.
about. I have a picture in the bunker of Wayne Gretzky, the great one. We were talking about him and Tom Brady and Michael Jordan.
And the great Mariano Rivera.
And the great Mariano Rivera. And how they were all playing different games than everybody else was. We also were... We were... Well, I had... I for those who listen to the RPG show, if you listen to it, you'll know that Chris pulled out this book where what type of book is that? What would you say that is?
Well, let's give it full credit, right?
He's reaching for the book. So it's
called Table Fables, a collection of tables for the weary game master by Madeline Hale.
You're too far from the mic.
And then she wrote two of them. There's Table Fables.
Yes.
And Table Fables 2, the World Builder's Handbook. And
these are used for what?
I mean, predominantly for D&D, but there's pretty good just tables that you can randomly roll things up, like names and female names and male names and traits and religions and financial
So you would
status.
roll a die, it would come up with a number, and you'd get, say, a first name. Then you'd roll another die, and you'd get another number, and you'd get a last name.
Yeah. For instance, I'm looking at a food table that has a quality that's a 1d4 from fantastic to disgusting. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, beverages, sweets, and also spices to include cumin, basil, rosemary, sage, mint, thyme.
Oh, so you could make up recipes.
Oh yeah,
with dice.
Just stuff that I don't have to come off the top of my head with shit. And I saw this when I bought that.
Right, because as a GM, you're kind of telling a story, and you have to come up with stuff all the time. Yep. And so sometimes you need to come up with weather. Sometimes you need to come up with a name. Sometimes you need to come up with
wind,
a recipe, or you need to come up with something. And these books are kind of references where you can roll a number, and it can have you come up with some result.
Yeah, just random results. Yeah.
So we were playing, and you came across a disease table.
Yeah, we thought it would be funny to just roll up
a disease.
A disease, yeah, which includes name, severity, and symptoms.
Symptoms. You could roll up symptoms and severity, right? So he rolled up something called. The name ended up being the Withering Sickness.
Yep, the Withering Sickness, and the symptoms were.
Okay, the symptoms were. Can I say what the symptoms were?
The symptoms, it was constipation.
Right.
And the severity was severe constipation.
Severe constipation. Now, for those of you who may not know, and I don't know how much I've divulged of my health practices or I don't know what to call it.
Dietary practices?
My dietary practice,
I think you've actually referenced it on the show a number of times.
I've referenced it. I used to be 200 and I in college days I wouldn't say I was svelte, but I was in pretty decent shape. I always worked out. I always ate decent. Then I went. I'm going to be explaining some of this. Where I always wanted to, thanks. I always was trying to start businesses. I was always trying to do something. I find it very hard to sit still. And at the time, I think I was doing openlygeek.com, and I was staying up crazy hours, working a regular job because I had just gotten married, and I had worked or even actually was engaged actually at this time, and working my regular hours because I had to pay for a ring and a wedding, and then but I was always trying to do something else or something extra, and at this time it was openlygeek.com, and all those hours were tacked on top of my regular work hours, so I would be up till all hours of the night. I remember the worst night was, I don't know, you're a comic book guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so at one point, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could... I remember going to comic book stores and having to have them put things aside for you on Wednesday, so you'd go and you pick them up.
Yep.
And that was... So every Wednesday you would have to go and you'd have to pick them up. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you could do that on a website, and instead of having to go pick them up, they came to your door. So I said, well, I'll add comic books to openlygeek.com. So I added the entire... Are you familiar with the Diamond catalog?
Yeah, that's the monthly catalog that came out that you can go in and...
You're way far away from the microphone.
Sorry.
Pull the stand closer to you. There you go.
Sorry. Yeah, that's the catalog. My comic book dealer when I was a kid at Emerald City Comics in Seminole, Florida, who was I won't say he's a buddy of mine because he's kind of like comic book dealers are kind of like heroin dealers. They're like, here, take a look at the Diamond catalog. Pick what you want. They have a Mjolnir.
Ooh, look at this statue.
There's a Mjolnir hammer. It's actual size. It's only $300.
Yeah.
And just have it come. Yeah, that was the Diamond catalog, though, right? It was the holy Bible of all geekness. Not everybody
got. The greatest catalog in the world.
Only so many people got access to actually see it. It was the Diamond. It was legitimately the Geek Diamond catalog, right?
You know what? I sold a $1,900 Princess Leia statue. She was...
Was it life size?
Yes.
Was it defiled?
No.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It was... I put it up on the site figuring no one was going to buy it, and I got an order for it, and I ordered it, and
that's what the gamble of being a comic guy, though. You could buy something and think someone's going to love this, and nobody fucking buys it.
Right. Oh, yeah. So that was actually the original Star Wars, and it was her when she was when they were fighting in the on the Death Star.
Yep, on the trash compactor level.
Right, the trash compactor.
Well, not the trash compactor. It was before the trash compactor.
Before, like in that hole.
Yeah, the holding cell.
The holding cell area.
Yeah.
And with the rifle, and when she's kind of leaning up against the thing, and that was the statue, and it was just fucking dead on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted it. I couldn't afford it, but I wanted it so bad, and it was amazing. Anyway, some guy got it,
but it wasn't a cardboard.
The hand
cutout.
Was broke. Of course, the hand's broke. So then I contacted the manufacturer, and they just sent the replacement, and it just popped right back, popped on.
But it was a statue. This wasn't a cardboard cutout. This wasn't This was a statue.
Right.
Okay.
But these are the kind of things that were in this Diamond catalog. Like you could get a lifestyle Princess Leia from the original Star Wars.
What are you doing with that?
Oh. I don't know. I wanted it. I wanted it. If it was right here in the bunker, you wouldn't fucking think it was awesome.
Han Solo life size I don't know though. Princess Leia is like I don't know. It starts to become sexualized at that point.
She was a little
That's my
that's part of it. I mean, you weren't in love with Carrie Fisher when you were a kid?
No, of course she was our princess.
Exactly. I had this certain attachment to it. It wasn't
of course.
Anyway,
I don't fault you for it. I'm just saying I would have picked
I took that whole catalog and I said, "Listen, you guys have to have this. You're printing it. You have all this. You have to have this in some sort of data form." And I was fighting and trying. Finally, I got through to the people in Diamond, and they're like, "Here it is. Here's the file." So they gave me an FTP site where I could download onto my database the entire catalog.
Oh, Jesus.
And I had all sorts of scripts and programs that would then take that entire catalog and put it on the website. So it would come out, I think, like in the beginning of the month, and then you could order off that catalog for those, and they had the delivery dates, it had the comic book, it had the statue when it was coming out. So the site had statues on the site that weren't even in stores yet. They were just like, they were coming out in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you could order. It was no such thing as going into a comic book store and, oh, we don't have it. No, if you went to openlygeek.com and went there, you ordered the statue, you browsed through, and anything you wanted, you just ordered, and it freaking came. I had another friend who was a hardcore comic book guy. He would come over to my house and work with me absolutely for free, because he couldn't get over the fact of he was just going to get this stuff delivered to him. I gave it to him at cost from Diamond, and he would come over. He would leave my house with like boxes of comic books and statues and whatever. Anyway, I'm talking about my health practices. So
yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this. Do you remember when Barack Obama was elected? Do you remember that he was on the cover of Spider-Man?
No.
No?
No. That's after my comic collecting program.
I was up till 4 a.m. for 2 weeks stuffing Barack Obama comic books. And I used to take the comic book, put it in the cardboard, then in the plastic.
Mm-hmm. Put the back on it. Yeah.
I put the back on it in the plastic, taped it down, then put it in a corrugated cardboard sleeve for mailing. And then it had a sticker on it, "Do not bend" and "fragile" and all this stuff on it. And they would arrive. I get people email me like, "Holy crap!" I handled each comic like it was, because I knew the way I was when I went to a comic book store. I would go in the comic book store and go look for the good ones. You know, like even though there was a stack of them.
Yeah, you don't grab the first.
I don't grab the first one at the front, and I go look for the pristine one. Right.
I'm like that with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So these all came pretty pristine from Diamond. They really packed them really well, and so I would just put them in all perfect. Anyway. There was a first print, there was a second print, there was a third print. And so I was just up. Needless to say, my diet was like just junk food, just to stay awake.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. So I got all the way up to 243 pounds. And I'm 6 feet tall. That's way too big for a 6 foot tall person. Now I'm down to 205. 203 on a good day. I'm trying to get to like 195. But so I lost all that weight over like how long have I lost that weight now for? Maybe, no, what am I saying? Like 4 or 5 years. I've kept it off. And it's just been
well, that would have been about 10 years ago.
Right. It's funny because and then I got married like that next year, and I joke with my wife that, you know, usually that's the best you look, you know, and for me, that was the worst I've ever looked. I was 240 at my wedding. I was a mess.
Yeah.
I was a mess at my wedding, because I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't exercising. All I was doing was working on websites and working at work. So now anyway, this is taking too long. The point is that
I don't think it's taking too long. I think it's taking as long as it needs to take.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You're too sweet. I'm gonna tell everybody the secret of losing weight. By the way,
okay.
You want to hear the secret?
It's a lot of cabbage and broccoli.
I do eat a lot of cabbage and broccoli. I'll tell you why.
Excessive amount of cabbage.
I'll tell you why. But here's the secret.
Okay.
The secret is really that there is no secret.
Can you whisper the secret?
The secret is.
Okay. Whisper the secret.
The more calories you eat,
the
fatter you get.
That's not a secret. That's mathematics.
No, I know it should be, but there's a billion books out there by fucking scam artists telling you otherwise. Oh, well, you need to go on the South Beach diet, or you need to go on the Atkins diet, or you need to go on blah, 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 all these different things. No, if your body requires 2,300 calories, which that's what mine requires generally. Mine requires I could tell you, my body requires about 2,200 calories in the summer and about 2,400 calories in the winter. Because in the winter, it's colder, your body needs a little bit more. Because I noticed if I keep a 2,200 calorie diet in the winter, I'm hungry and I lose weight. If I keep a 2,200 calorie diet in the summer, I'm fine. I don't gain weight.
What? Okay, that's 2,200 calories.
That's my body.
A day.
Right.
So what is a typical 2,200 calorie day for Nick? What's breakfast?
Do you think this is interesting?
No, I'm interested in it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't care what anybody else is.
Breakfast is
because I think you're crazy with your diet because I'm like probably about the same size as you, and I'm like easily like 230 pounds.
What do you mean, height wise? No, you're taller than
I'm a little bit taller, but not that much taller.
Okay.
And I go through ups and downs, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like much more.
Well, the reason I eat broccoli. Here's the other secret.
But what's a typical day, though? I want to know what your diet is on Monday. What do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat for dinner? What do you eat for lunch?
Okay, so I'll
not in that order.
I'll take a tub of cottage cheese, 2%.
A tub of cottage cheese.
You know the big. You know this size.
Okay.
I don't know what size that is.
Okay.
It's supposed to be 4 servings.
Cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I scoop out half of it. I used to weigh it, but now I've gotten I have a kitchen scale. I used to weigh it.
Okay.
And I did that for several months where I would weigh everything I was eating. And then what happened is I was using an app that I would put in what I was eating. You were able to put in recipes of things that you ate. And after it was a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like a pain in the ass.
It's a pain in the ass. Yeah. But you do it for several months. And after several months, if you really think about the stuff you eat, you eat pretty much the same things. Like if I took 4 months of your life and it's month 5, are you eating something on month 5 that you didn't eat already in the past 4 months? Probably not, right?
No.
But now it's in the app. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm eating. Well, for instance, for me, grilled chicken breast. I mean, that's in there.
Yeah.
I'm eating turkey chili. It's in there. So whatever the thing would be. So, and then you also got an idea after a while of what 6 ounces or 8 ounces of chicken breast looked like, what 125 grams of rice looked like, what 150 gram baked potato looks like.
Yeah, you can eyeball.
You start to eyeball it.
Yeah.
You know, if you see you're starting to gain a little bit of weight, then you start weighing again. But for the most part, after you go through that period. So I would take that tub, which was 2 servings of cottage cheese, 2%, and I would take 4 servings, and I would take half of it, right, and put it in a bowl, and then take like a fruit cup. Okay. You know those fruit cups, those snack cups?
Yeah. But
there's a no sugar added one. Don't take the diet one that's got aspartame and all that junk and saccharin and all that crap in it. Just take one where it's just fruit sitting in its own juice, you know, but they don't add freaking simple syrup to it to make it even sweeter. And I drain it out, and then I dump that on the cottage cheese. And then I have a cup of coffee with 2 teaspoons, and then I have a teaspoon. You were over for St. Patrick's Day. Did you have coffee?
I did, yeah.
Did you notice I have a teaspoon, a literal measuring teaspoon in my sugar thing? It is literally 1 teaspoon. Okay. I shake it so that's a level teaspoon. People think, you put sugar? It's 15 calories.
Yeah. I mean,
that's all it is.
If you measure it, if you
measure it, yeah. So I would put 2 of those. That's 30 calories. The coffee's 5 calories. So far my coffee's 35 calories. Then I would put about 2 tablespoons of half and half. I like to use grass milk, half and half.
Grass
fed, yeah. Okay. Yeah, supposedly it's been a few. I don't know if that's 100% true. But anyway, so that whole thing came out. I don't have the app in front of me, but I think about 80 calories, let's say, that cup of coffee. And it was the way I liked my coffee. It was 80 calories. And then I had my cottage cheese and my fruit.
And your fruit. Okay.
Lunch, I have these 80 calorie wraps. I would put about 8 ounces of grilled chicken in it. And then I would put...
And this is all pre-prep. This is stuff that you made. Okay.
Well, what will happen is on a Sunday, I'll make a ton of chicken and for the week. And that would just be sitting in the fridge, and I would wrap up a couple of wraps. So there'd be these 80-calorie wraps with the grilled chicken, and then I'd flavor them with some hummus, maybe a little sriracha, make it a little hot.
Okay.
And roll those up. That'd be lunch. Water.
Just chicken.
Chicken and
maybe
hummus.
Like hummus.
Chicken, hummus, maybe a little hot sauce.
Maybe
chicken,
lettuce,
hummus, and hot sauce on a wrap.
Lettuce or something?
I could sometimes. Well, sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut up chicken, throw it in salad too.
Okay.
That could be a different lunch.
Okay.
Dinner would be either also grilled chicken, or it could be pork chop, or it could be a piece of fish, or it could be turkey breast, or it could be whatever the heck.
But no.
But
red,
with
no
the
red
plate,
meat,
if you looked at my plate, not a lot of red meat. No. But the only reason now I eat more red meat because I hunt. And I have that meat is way lower in calories because it's much lower in fat. But if you looked at my plate was, I would say, 60% vegetable. And then the remainder was, it was 50% vegetable. Then maybe the remaining, I'm trying to do math in my head now and it's late. What do I have? 50% left?
Yeah. If you have 50%, you have
50% vegetable and 30% protein and 20% some sort of carb, which would either be a rice.
100%.
Right. Either a bit of rice or a bit of a baked potato.
Okay.
Then if I felt like I needed more after that, sometimes maybe I'll take an ounce of dark chocolate, which is be a square, like a Ghirardelli dark chocolate square.
Yep.
Or I would take a little Halo Top, which is freaking fantastic ice cream. If you ate a whole tub of vanilla Halo Top ice cream, it's 280 calories. So if I ate half of that, that's only 140 calories. Anyway, that would get me usually, what I just told you is probably under 2,000 calories. So, and that includes a coffee in the afternoon because you always want to fall asleep.
But anyway, plus you would work out every day.
And that no, I work out 3 times a day. I would like to get more cardio.
You work out.
If I got my cardio in, if I had the time to do two days of cardio, I would be able to get onto that one.
You work out 3 times a day?
3 times a week. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say
3 times a week. I don't work out 3 times.
By the way, Openly Geek is open on GoDaddy.com if you're interested.
It's available. There you go. Sign it up. I'm on the Wayback Machine.
I'm actually going to buy it right now.
Go on the there you go.
Buy this domain right now.
I used FileMaker Pro on a Mac Pro to run that whole website. But anyway,
so that's your diet for a day. Okay, I mean,
I was able to, and then I mix up the dinners and the chilies. My favorite now, one of the things I like now is I call it meat slop, which I actually got off of Reddit, which is cabbage, leeks, onions, tomato paste, and grass fed meat, or now I use venison. Pretty low calorie, and the reason I eat all this broccoli and cauliflower is because it's super filling.
Yeah, it's super filling and low calorie.
And super low calories, provided you don't smother it in oil. If you don't smother it, a tablespoon of oil is 120 calories.
Yeah. Even if it's like olive oil, it's
120 calories, all oils.
Wow.
And and you think of people that will go and say, I had a salad, and they drench it in olive oil. You've destroyed yourself. Anyway,
well, the minute you saute something, you have to put oil on it.
Right.
And that I mean, no offense, but that's when cabbage tastes better, when it's like really well sauteed.
Well, my meat slop has ground meat in it, which has the fat from the meat. I used to take a tablespoon of bacon fat, and I used to take maybe 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I would make a big pot of it. But that would be like 4.5 servings. So if it ended up being less than a tablespoon of oil per serving. So each serving was ending up being like 600 calories, which if you ate that breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're under 2,000 calories.
Yeah. And
when you're done with it, you're full. You're super full. But anyway, That's the secret. For anyone who's looking for the secret, stop buying books, stop all that shit, and just weigh your food and count your calories. Make sure you get a decent amount of protein and a decent amount of vegetables. Eat whole foods, just for health. That's for health purposes. But if you're just looking to lose weight, just cut the calories. There was a guy who answered that. Remember that guy who did that McDonald's documentary?
Oh, yeah.
And so he was sick.
Super Size
Me? Okay. There was a guy.
Well, he's got a name. He's done a bunch of
I forgot the guy's name. Yeah, I know. He's done a bunch. Anyway, there was a guy who said that the reason he had all those health problems wasn't because it was McDonald's, but he had those health problems because of the calorie intake. Some other guy, I forget his name, he did
Morgan Spurlock.
Morgan Spurlock, that's right. Did another, not nearly as popular. I don't even know if if it was a movie or not. I don't think it was. But what he did is he ate Twinkies for 3 weeks.
Oh my God!
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He had a Twinkie for breakfast, Twinkie for lunch, Twinkie for dinner. He lost a ton of weight. His blood pressure went down. His lipids went down in his blood. His cholesterol level everything went down because he was just losing all this weight. So, listen, obviously it's probably better to get your calories from vegetables and proteins than from Twinkies, for various reasons.
So, what is a lesson there? Weight. Is that all things in moderation? I don't remember.
Oh, well, for sure. And that's the other good thing, that the way I eat is a pain in the ass to start because you have to do all this weighing, and you have to do all this measuring, and you have to do all this prep. But no food is off limits to me.
Mm-hmm.
I could eat rice. I could eat pasta. I could eat bread. I could eat potato. I could eat cheese. I could eat whatever I want. I could eat whatever I want to eat. But I know how many calories it is. So the truth is that I can't, have as much cheese. I can have a little piece of cheese, or I can have half a head of cabbage. So you start to gravitate towards the cabbage because you don't want to, I ate half a piece of cheese. I'm a little hungry.
Yeah.
I ate half a thing of cabbage. I want to go to bed, so so you start to gravitate towards that stuff naturally. But anyway.
So how's that working out for you with the half a head of cabbage?
All right. Good. It's been great. But here's what happened. So on Ash Wednesday, which we had discussion about this.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Ash Wednesday.
Do you fast?
No.
Do you give up stuff for Lent?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not Catholic in any way, shape, or form.
And you're Irish, right?
I'm Irish.
Someone's rolling over in the grave.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure I have like 20 ancestors that are.
Oh, my God.
But no, I'm not. And they're Irish Catholic for sure.
Yeah.
And I know enough about the Catholic religion to know what the...
You know who Jesus Christ is?
I do know who Jesus Christ is.
I'm just checking.
I'm familiar with his... I'm familiar with him.
Anyway, I'm not...
Seems like a nice guy.
I'm not religious. I'm spiritual a little bit. I would consider myself more spiritual than religious.
Okay.
I do not...
But you fasted.
Yes. No, because you know what I like? If you really look at it,
mm-hmm.
there seems to be some sort of ulterior motive behind religion. Besides the releasing of yourself, of your ego, of material attachments, all these things that are actually probably good for your mind, body, and soul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, on every religion, there's always a fast. Every religion has a fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that the springtime in Catholicism has this, you give up something at Lent. I don't even know if that's a Catholic thing or an Italian thing.
No, it's a Catholic thing.
Is it? It is. Okay, good. So we would always just give up. I would give up chocolate when I was a kid. I would give up something. But now I'm not so interested. But I said, wouldn't it be, supposedly there's a lot of health benefits in fasting from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
1,000-calorie fast for like 2-3 days, a 500-calorie fast for like 2 days, a 24-hour fast, once or twice a year, supposedly has fantastic benefits for your body. So I said, well, here's a religious holiday. It's Ash Wednesday. I'm supposed to give up something, right? I'm going to fast. So I didn't eat anything for 24 hours on Ash Wednesday. So the last thing I ate was Tuesday night, like around 9 o'clock. And then I didn't eat another thing until Wednesday night. It was like 9:30. And I was like, should I just go to bed? I'm like, I'm starving. And you always think you're hungry. Like, oh, I'm hungry. No, you're not hungry. Like, it takes, and I don't even, and there's people who fast even longer than 24 hours. After 24 hours of not eating, you're hungry. Mm-hmm. It's like a different hunger. It's like almost like it's a little painful. You're weak. It's like it starts to get a little strange.
Yeah, your blood sugar goes down.
Yeah, you're a little.
Your chemistry of your body starts to change.
You're snippy. You know. It's like I have to eat something, but I didn't want to eat bad. So Wednesday night, like 9:30, I ate a bunch of grilled chicken and hummus.
Yeah, which is pretty typical for like Jews and Muslims coming off a fast is like eat chicken.
Well, no, I'm going to say that if you're going to eat for 24 hours, you should probably just have like maybe 2 soft-boiled eggs or something. Mm-hmm. You should really gradually reintroduce food back.
I just know that most of the religions that institute a fast are very specific about
I had a pretzel
foods
too.
that like what they come off of a fast on. I do know that. And
there's reason.
It's almost like a ritual in what they eat when they come off of a fast, you know. And I didn't really equate any particular item like, oh, that makes sense, but it seemed a part of the ritual what they ate to come off of the fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for it,
obviously,
because I don't know if it was the fast or if it was the stupid fucking disease you rolled up. But I literally got the disease you rolled up.
Yeah.
Because...
No, wait. I didn't roll shit.
You rolled up the wither...
No,
I rolled it.
You rolled it.
You rolled it. You took the the Ouija book out.
Yeah, okay.
And
fine.
Jumanji shit.
I'll take that.
You took the Jumanji book out and you opened it up and I rolled and then I got the withering sickness, which is severe constipation. And then
sorry.
I shouldn't laugh at that. That's right. So then I go to Wednesday night and I eat that, and then Thursday I ate completely like normal. Friday I forgot what I eat Friday. I ate fish.
But when did
you have to eat fish on Friday in Lent?
So when did you?
I had cod.
You're opening yourself up. When did you shit in? I have to ask you that.
I didn't. I shat Wednesday.
You shat on Wednesday. Okay.
And
because now we're getting personal, but I feel like I have to ask you because you're blaming me for
I shat on Thursday.
You shat on Thursday. Okay.
Again, my stomach is at least I thought it was, but maybe because I'm getting old. But my stomach's steel. Mm-hmm. Like I freaking eat anything. Mm-hmm. So Wednesday and Thursday were fine. Friday, I ate fish. Friday, I don't think I went to the bathroom, which for me,
would be unusual.
Right. I'm 1 to 3 times a day.
Okay. No, that's average. Yes.
Right. Which would tell me average. I mean, 3 times a day, you can't get more healthy than that. Okay, and that's based on the diet I'm saying, and my diet again is mostly vegetables. Mm-hmm. But I think that when I came off that fast and I started pounding just chicken and hummus and a pretzel, that's pretty like binding shit right there. I think I made like some sort of blockage because by the time Friday came around, I hadn't eaten that and I didn't notice. And then what I did was I had about a pound. What I did on Saturday, this is stupid too. Well, it's not stupid, but it's stupid when you are 45 years old and you also just came off a fast on Wednesday. I like to I intermittent fast on Saturdays.
Okay.
So I don't eat breakfast on Saturdays. So on like whatever I eat on Friday night, say like 9:30, let's say is the last thing I eat, maybe a little Halo Top ice cream. I don't eat again until lunchtime on Saturday.
Okay.
So it's about 16 hours without eating again. And then for lunch, I think I had, again, there's more protein in hummus. Like I had chicken and hummus again. I love chicken and hummus. I really do. I like chicken. One of my favorite meals is chicken, hummus, cauliflower, and rice with sriracha squirted all over it. It's fucking awesome. But what I ended up eating on Saturday night was about a pound of venison and a baked potato.
Okay. Well, come on, dude. It's like you put a fucking cork in your body.
Yeah, so
that's
Sunday morning I wake up.
That's a cork. You just shoved a cork of pure protein and carbs in the middle.
I'm not kidding. I ate about a pound of venison.
And you give me a hard time because I was busting your balls. I'm like, did you poopy? Is your poopy okay? How is this going to affect your diet? And
Sunday morning comes.
Yeah, because you're talking about shit on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I had your kids on Sunday. Right, you were in the hospital.
I was in the hospital.
He was in the hospital.
Because Sunday morning comes, and I'm feeling pains in my stomach. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It felt like gas. And I'm waiting for this gas to come out. It's not coming out. So I'm thinking, I'll probably have to go to the bathroom. So I have a little coffee. And I said, the coffee will make it come out. Which usually that's the case. Only this time, the coffee activated the system.
Yeah,
but
you
the
got
system
more
couldn't,
gas. Yeah.
Right, the system couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
so it just cranked it up.
It's mostly the warmth of the coffee and the caffeine, which is a diuretic that will constrict things and make things move around quicker.
Right. Yes.
If they don't, you have a
problem.
Yeah, there's a problem.
You have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem. Yeah.
So, it was upsetting for me because I'm such a regular person that way.
But by Sunday, you hadn't shit in.
Well, Sunday's day 2 that I hadn't.
You hadn't shit,
which is not normal.
That's not normal.
So,
did you feel it up high? Like, did you?
Yes, I felt like gas pains up high.
Yeah.
Right, like just underneath, like just by your diaphragm, like a little bubbling, like I have gas.
Yeah.
So usually on Sunday we have a nice breakfast. Sunday's cheat day, so Sunday's like bacon and eggs.
Oh yeah,
and all that stuff.
Have 4 pounds of venison and baked potatoes.
All right,
go crazy.
Yeah, then have bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
but I didn't eat any of that because I was just like, there's something up here, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And just when you think like have you ever had excruciating gas pain but it didn't go away, and then now it's 30 minutes later, it's an hour later, it's 2 hours later, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah, that's I start to worry that's like appendicitis,
right?
Like that's gallbladder. That's
right.
Almost anything. Yeah.
So I'm in the bathroom.
I'm Googling shit on WebMD, and I'm like,
no, I couldn't
palpitating myself.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't at that point. I'm in the bathroom. I'm completely bent over. Nothing's happening. I am white. Like this paper plate, I'm sweating.
Yeah, white is not good.
I am sweating.
I'm calling an ambulance at white.
Right, I'm shivering, and then I'm getting like these almost like I don't know what birth pains or what contractions feel like, but that's what it was. It was waves. It was just like excruciating pain for 45 minutes, then 5 minutes of peace, and then it would come back. And sometimes when it came back worse.
Oh.
And this was going on till like into the afternoon now. And it got to the point where like when you feel like you're being stabbed in the stomach, like say you get stabbed in the stomach at 9 a.m.
That's pretty sharp.
Right? Someone stabs you in the stomach at 9 a.m. And then they twist it for about 30 minutes and then they leave. And then 5 minutes later, they come and stab you again and twist it for another 40 minutes. And then they do that like 10 times. Like now it's like 2 p.m. and it's like, oh, I feel a little better. I feel better. I think maybe I'm all right. And then boom, you get stabbed again and it gets twisted for another 45 minutes.
Yeah, no.
You want to kill yourself because now you're like, all right, I'm dying, or I couldn't move. I'm screaming in the bathroom. Nobody's hearing me.
Yeah, I was going to say your family is downstairs.
My family
they do not
picking
know
out on bacon and eggs.
They have no idea of your
My
plight.
kids are on iPads. My wife is, I don't know, listening to music on her iPhone while she's fucking playing.
Chocolate
while
cake.
she's folding clothes or something. I don't know what she was doing. And finally she comes up and she finds me like just doubled over, sweating, pale, like you can't move. And then she's like, we have to go to the hospital. I'm like, I couldn't even think of going to the hospital because I couldn't move from where I was. Anyway, eventually when in between, like when the pain would go away, those moments, those brief 5 to 10 minute respites, I managed to use each of those to get into a car. And then got to the hospital. And as we're driving there, I don't know, I burped like 2-3 times and I just started feeling fine. I got into the emergency room and I was still a little messed up looking. When I say feel fine, I mean, my pain was down to like bearable levels, right? But by the time I was in there and they put me in the gown and I was laying in the bed, I was okay. But I had to go through the CAT scans, the ultrasounds, the whole thing. And I remember the CAT scan guy said I had an impressive amount of poop in me. So that's why I was texting you that I had the fucking withering sickness. I was basically.
Well, you didn't text me that until you were all the way home.
Right, I was home and I realized it.
Yeah.
And when I realized, I was like, "Holy shit!
I
had the fucking withering sickness."
And like I said, I was busting your balls because I had texted you on Saturday night, and I was like, I was drinking some beer called Blood of the Unicorn, and I was playing fucking Red Dead Redemption.
Yes, you sent me a picture.
And this fucking cocksucker didn't fucking reply to me on fucking Saturday night because he's fucking busy or some fucking horse shit. And then you're like, oh, I'm in the hospital. I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I felt bad. I was like, oh shit. And you're like, oh well, yeah.
And you were watching my kids. Yeah. I was like, oh,
no, kids are the least of the. They were fine. But I was like, oh, did your poopy come in? Yeah, because that's what I texted you like on Wednesday. I'm like, how's your? And I was like, poop emoji.
I was supposed to go to my sister-in-law's 40th birthday. Oh, Jesus. That whole thing got canceled. I was telling Lisa, go without me. She's like, I can't leave you like this. Like you're gonna die.
You know, the only thing I'll say is, like I said.
Very upsetting for someone who's very regimented with that.
I don't think it had anything to do with you, though, because on Wednesday, I had some shit happen to me. It was like the same shit, and I was like just eating crap and fucking drinking my ass off all week. And all of a sudden, Wednesday hit me, dude, of this week, and I was like, it was the same fucking shit. I was on the field coaching T-ball.
What do you think? It was like well, they did say it could have been like a little flu that
could have been some kind of virus because Lucas had the same thing. He threw up and we were down, dude. And it was like abdominal. It was very like, I just felt it, dude. And I took a shit. It was like, seriously, when I felt better, I took like a 4-foot shit in the toilet, dude. I was backed the fuck up, and I'm like, why? I mean, I drink tons of water. Even if I drink,
So you think it was a bug that was going around?
I think it was viral, dude.
So
because
I could feel better about my dietary practices.
And last night, Natalie woke up because Dean. I'm throwing all kinds of names around here, but he had woken up at 2:00 in the morning.
What names?
Dean, Natalie, and Lucas, all thrown in one fucking.
Okay.
Dean had get up in the middle of the night to go to poop at like 3:00 in the morning, and somehow poop was on like the blinds and on the wall.
The blinds.
She had to clean the whole fucking bathroom, dude. And it was, and I moved downstairs because I've been snoring so hard. So I moved downstairs to the guest room so I didn't wake everybody up. And I just heard all this walking around, and I'm like, I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? At 3:00, I said, she got up to let the dog out because the dog's peeing all over the house, and the kid's shitting all over the fucking bathroom. Lucas is actually in his bed. He's not a problem at all. And I'm like, what is going on? There's way too much activity at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I think
so it's not. It wasn't me.
I don't think it was you.
It wasn't the fast.
I think there was more than that.
Well, maybe I contributed. Maybe I had something and then made it worse.
It probably didn't help. but I think it was
The
something.
pound of venison and the baked potato.
And the baked potato. And you put the fucking cork.
And I don't know how much spinach.
You shove the cork up your ass. And you fucking pounded spinach and cabbage and broccoli.
I was telling the doctor, I said, you don't know how much greens I eat. This is
upsetting. Did he rectally probe you?
No.
Okay,
no, but ultrasounded and CAT scanned.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing else really. I'm supposed to follow up with somebody. I haven't made that appointment yet,
but we've had the net. Let's go bottom line.
No more withering sickness. No more rolling up fucking diseases.
Yeah. So, dear listeners, we pledge this to you: no more rolling diseases. No more
poop episodes.
No more cabbage and broccoli.
Yeah,
Nick is sworn.
No, cabbage and broccoli is good.
Oh, that's not
for you.
No, see,
yes, it is good for
you. I promise you, nothing but nastiness goes into this body.
Well, you then we had a conversation about religion because we were talking about the fact that I fasted on Ash Wednesday to begin with.
Yes.
And then you said you don't. And then I said, aren't you Irish? A part Irish. And you said yes. And I said, the other part's Italian, right? And I think you said yes. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were the two most Catholic,
No, and my grandmother was Czechoslovakian and she was like highly Catholic too. So but
you just like.
But so
toss that aside.
How often do you go to church on Sunday?
No comment.
So would you say you're a lapsed Catholic?
A what?
A lapse Catholic?
Lapsed
means you
lapse or lapsed. Have I lapsed?
Yeah,
I lapsed.
Lapsed.
I lapsed. Yeah,
when was the last
lapsed.
time you took communion?
It's been a while.
Okay,
I know
it's been a while.
Is that a Bush song?
It's not a Bush song, but anyway,
it's close enough.
So
I know people who claim to be Catholic, who will miss church on Sundays, and then show up on another Sunday and go and get communion. Doesn't that make you not a Catholic?
No, it makes
you're not allowed to do that.
No,
I've tried to explain to her. I said, "Wait a minute, you can't go get communion." She's like, "Why not?" I said, "Because you missed church on Sunday, you have to go confess that."
Yeah, no, you're absolutely.
And then you can go get communion. She goes, "Fuck that." I said, "All right, that's fine.
You don't
get to call yourself Catholic.
No, you don't get to pick and choose what you do for your religion. Either you are or you aren't. I have a bunch of people who are like, "Oh, we have to have the 7 fishes at Christmas time," and I'm like,
"Well, you do."
No, but
for dietary purposes.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's good for the soul. The omega-3s are good for the brain.
But then I say, how come I can't have a prime rib in there? And they'll go, because that's sin.
Because it's messed up.
No, but it's not messed up.
Listen.
Because if you're
religion aside, you cannot have prime rib on Christmas Eve.
Why not?
Because it's a fish holiday.
Why?
Because
the fish part is religious.
It's like
no. It is religious, but you can't.
It's like baking apple pie in the middle of the summer. It's like having you don't bake apple pie.
What's wrong with apple pie in the summer? A nice piece of
apple pie. The apples come off the trees in the fall.
Yeah, okay.
That's when you make apple pie.
But
would you have pumpkin pie at the 4th of July party?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because it's not readily available.
Sure, it is in fucking cans.
It is,
right.
But it's not something you could purchase over the counter, or would purchase over
pumpkin
the
pie on 4th of July is the same thing as prime rib on Christmas Eve.
But you can have prime rib on Christmas Day.
Yes.
So that's a fucking day away.
Well, because I don't know.
That's weak.
I don't know. Well, if you have, here's the thing.
You're so tied to that religious, and you're not connecting it to that, but it's there.
That's probably what it is.
It is, though.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's your
something
ancestors.
That I'm used to.
It is. Your ancestors insisted on. But if you're not, and so many people aren't, and I'm like, you motherfuckers are the least religious cocksuckers I've ever met in my life, and I'm fine. Want to be religious, but you don't get to pick and choose. Yes, and I'm not yelling at you about this because this is more my family. No, because you're Italian too.
No,
you're
I
fucking
mean,
Genzo cocksucker.
I am a Genzo cocksucker. Does this show suck? I'm just wondering.
We'll find out.
I'm wondering how much the show sucks.
But I don't think it sucks. But
I'm very upset that I had a digestive problem given how much effort I put into my digestive
what's
system.
What's the official time frame that we just talked about your digestive problem? It's got to be like an hour.
We talked about my bowels for 49 minutes.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
So
I would have thought we would have got 20 minutes out of that, but we talked about your ass for 49 minutes.
It's so
it's hilarious.
I have this problem.
Sorry.
That's not ass related.
Fucking tears, really. Fucking.
So I found out what's wrong with me.
Okay. What's wrong with you?
Okay. All right. I've gone through life. Okay. My whole fucking life with this problem. I don't. It's not ADD.
Okay.
It's not that I have attention deficit disorder because I focus on things. I will focus on things very intensely for too long.
I noticed that about you. But
after a while, I'll find something else that interests me, and then I'll focus on that intensely.
Okay.
And then I'll find something else that interests me, and I'll focus on that intensely. And I can't. So, I mean, I have this thing next to me right here. This is proof positive. I have a Bovice screwed into our studio table, right? There's this guy, I don't know if it's the new rich or the 4-hour work week, the people who are experts in things. There's this guy who is he was a championship archer. He did tournaments. He was a professional archer for most of his life. Had this passion for archery. Won a bunch of medals, won a bunch of awards, and a bunch of tournaments. And then that was his thing, right? He went through life. That was what he did. That's what he enjoyed. That's what he did. That's what he was good at. And he spent many years doing it to the point where he's respected in his field. He's respected in the community of archers. He then starts writing articles for archery magazines and archery clubs and blogs. And then he starts he gets the sponsors that sponsored him tournaments, bring him into their engineering, and then they work with him to produce bows, and then they work with him to produce arrows, and they work with him to do all these different things. And then he has a podcast, and then he's teaching other people all this information, and then he's got a store that links to his podcast. So all these things that he's talking about, you could also go to his store and you could buy these things that he's talking about, and you could have a better understanding of them, and he could teach you how to use them. And he's like this wonderful thing, right? It's like, wow, look at this guy. And then I look at myself, and I don't fucking have anything like that. Do you have anything like that? Do you have anything where you have this passion and drive towards something, and you do it, and you've done it for so long that you're so goddamn good at it that you're recognized in that community and in that field for it, and that interests you enough still at this point to just to drive further and deeper into it, and then to have all these other people or other businesses or other companies or whatever to ask to tap into you and tap into that knowledge and trying to learn from you, and then communities of people who want to tap into this knowledge. And I look at people like this, and like you start to feel like a loser.
Yeah.
So I found out what I have. It's called, well, a multipod
A multipod.
or a multi-potentialite.
Huh?
And it's a person who who finds, who has too many interests, too many hobbies, too many, who is not, there are people in this world that I think that will say, I golf. But what do you like to do? Well, I work for so-and-so company, and I like to golf and fish. And then they're done. Or I like to read and go to movies. I like to do, it's just like 1, 2, maybe 3 things. But with me, I have, and this is part of the problem why I don't ever have time. Family and kids aside and all that stuff, and I love spending time with them, and I do all that. So once you don't work, once you're done with your family and your kids, okay, now you have like maybe a few hours or whatever to do something else. And with me, it's not always something different, but there's too many different things to do. Like, I love podcasting. This is fucking great. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this. You enjoy doing this. This is great.
Yeah.
I like playing golf. I like playing my guitar immensely. I like writing, or I don't really like writing. I like having written. I like when I'm done writing something. I like shooting. Turns out that now I like hunting, and then now I like bows, and next thing I know, I got a fucking bow vise screwed into our studio table here, where I'm working on a bow. What is wrong with me? So I was thinking that maybe I don't, and I like comic books. I like games. I'm enjoying role playing. There's too many things that I like, that I enjoy, that I want to spend a lot of time doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you never end up being an expert in any of them because there just isn't time.
But those people that you just described, because I think that's where we connect. I wouldn't say I'm like an expert in any one subject. I think the one thing that we have in common when we sit here and talk is that we both are dangerous enough to have conversations about many topics, whether we're talking about science, whether we're talking about math, whether we're talking about philosophy or literature or history or technology or filmmaking or whatever. I mean, I'm as interested in music as I am in movies, as I am in books, as I am in games. So, I mean, I think we have that in common, and I think that's uncommon in the same way.
Isn't it? It's
because some people are like,
it's a little torturous, isn't it?
It is, because you can get bored of something if I just said I'm going to sit here and read, and I'm enjoying it for a period of time, but I reach a threshold where I'm kind of done with it.
But I see. I don't necessarily get bored.
But I'm
searching for something that someone else will find valuable. That's what I feel like. So
that I can't.
I mean, like
that I don't.
Food service. Like I've been in food service for over 20 years. Now in this society, in this world, you have to pick something, right, and stick with it in order to make a living at it, right, and make money. So that's kind of, if I'm an expert in anything, it's that. But if you ask me if that's my passion and interest, yeah, I mean, there are aspects of it that I'm certain, like baking bread, making a pizza, making the perfect pizza crust, making the perfect ribs. I've worked in, God, you don't even know how many freaking things I've worked in. we were just talking in the role playing game where I was holding spit buckets in commercials. And I've worked in commercials. I've worked in film. I've worked in food. I've worked in front of the house in food, back of the house in food. I've worked in distributing to food places. I've baked. I've made fresh. I was an assistant baker. I made and stuff that I love. I make bread in my own house. I do all this stuff food wise. Then I'll do. There are times you can't tear me away from my guitar, or I'll go clay shooting, or I'll go hunting, or I'll go fishing, or I'll read a book, or I'll sit down and try and write a novel. I'll do a podcast freaking every other Friday for freaking 5 hours a night. And I'm wondering how many other people are like that. You're saying you like that, but then you're saying, well, do you get bored, or are you searching for something else? Do you feel like you have to move?
I throw myself into something to a degree where I am kind of satiated. And it depends on what that thing is. I mean, if that thing is really deep, I think you can throw yourself into it multiple times and not be satisfied. But I don't know. I enjoy the challenge of all the things, and
it's so not what society.
No, I don't. I think the average person doesn't do that. I'm not saying that we're like exemplary or somehow above average.
Well, there are a lot of.
We're just different. I mean, we're just different in what we value, the time that we have, that we put towards. Does that make sense? Like I don't know.
Would you consider? And then on top of that, I'm a bit of an autodidact. Would you say that you? Again, this is just the thing right now because this is in front of me, right? And you had my bow in your hand today.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I need is to get into archery. It's the last thing in the world I need because there's too many other things. How am I going to write my novel when I'm down here trying to figure out how to fletch this arrow? And how many people who are even into archery want to fletch their own arrows, who want to figure out what the spline of this arrow is?
Well, do you think a piece of this is you getting in your own way? So like you're talking about your novel,
but what's my thing?
But that's the thing though. Is your thing you getting in the way of whatever you think your thing is? What? So you say, but here's the thing. You say you want to write a novel, right?
Yeah, I mean,
then write a novel.
I started it.
So then why introduce the other distractions?
Because I fucking love archery.
Do you?
As soon as I started it, I can't stop thinking about it.
Or is archery the distraction for finishing the novel?
Well, that possibly, but. I mean,
I can't. It's not that your mind isn't big enough. Your mind is stretching out to get away from something that maybe it doesn't want to finish.
I don't know if that's the case. It could be. But that makes it sound like everything I do is just an excuse to get away from writing a novel, and I don't think it is.
Well, maybe it's not an excuse from maybe it's just not that excuse, but you're constantly chasing something.
Yeah, what am I chasing? That's my problem.
And what would happen? But not what are you chasing? What would you do when you caught what you were chasing?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm chasing.
Well, exactly. But the fact that it moves changes. I don't know. Maybe because, I'm similar, but we're not exactly the same. I'm not quite as like, I never had my own business. I was never an actor. You've been all over the board,
I've been too much so.
Yeah. And I've been more focused, but I don't know. I've had the opportunity to be more philosophical about things. Like when I was overseas, like I read a tremendous amount of religion and philosophy and understanding. Like I've come to an understanding about myself and what I like and what I don't like and what I need and what I don't need. And I'm not saying that you don't have that, but I think it's something that you have to explore to get the answers that you're looking for. Because you're asking a lot of questions. I think they're all great questions.
But there's no. But the answers are the issue.
But the only person that can give those answers are you.
Yeah, but I don't have the answers.
I mean, I could help you find those answers.
I don't have the answers.
I mean, you want me to help you finish your novel? We'll write your novel together.
I do want to finish the novel. But I do want to go hunting, and I do want to fish, and I do want to play my guitar on a stage and sing, and I do want to. There's a million things I want to do. There's a million things I want to do, and so it's like, what do you do? I was thinking of, like, even for instance, let's take this podcast. What in the hell is this podcast about? And this, to me, this podcast is a mirror of my problem. It really is.
Yeah.
Because it's not about anything. It's about everything. But like even this, how many podcasts are there about multi? What's it called?
It's like, well,
how many multipod?
It's become
multi-potentiality.
It's become like an existentialist podcast.
There is a website for people like this called Putty Like.
Of course they would, because there's labels for everybody.
What is a multi-potentialite? MI1.
But why? But see, why does
it's upsetting to me.
This goes back to the conversation we've always had about the podcast. Why does a podcast have to be about one thing other than marketing? And I don't have any time.
Well, because for a website to be successful, like this guy that I was just telling you
but
about.
You're following rules.
What? Yeah.
Fuck rules.
Well, yeah. No, I understand that, but that's part of the. I don't want to say it's part of the problem, but you're that guy that I'm explaining. This guy's John Dudley, by the way.
Okay.
Really knowledgeable at archery. Really knows what he's talking about. And if you really want to any archers out there looking up their game, I mean, want to look up Knock On Archery. But he's got a great podcast. And when you go into iTunes and you say, I'm into archery. I wonder how many archery podcasts there are. I'm going to search for an archery podcast. You're going to find John Dudley. And you're going to, because this is what he does. He's an expert. Mm-hmm. This is where his focus is.
Okay.
If I click on him and start going down his rabbit hole, I will find nothing but validation after validation after validation that I am following the right person. If someone was, what are people searching for to listen to us?
So I think what we're looking for is to be prolific podcasters about everything.
So you're talking about
we're going to have
embracing. Should we
episodes.
Embrace multi-potentiality?
I think that's exactly what we should embrace. I think I think that's what we discuss end to end. We discuss everything. And
so then we should be multi-potentiality experts.
Well, then put that as a tag in our podcast.
The podcast from multipod.
But I don't think you could be a multi-potentiality expert because multi-potentiality
I hate the name of it.
Automatically,
so,
it bothers me. I hate that there's a fucking label for it. It irks me. But
no, I feel better about it. You know why I feel better about it? Because this is something I struggled with my whole life. And the fact that I found something that means that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, but so then that's the people we need to market towards. There must be more people that are interested in many things at not necessarily an expert level. And we can cater to that. And we're more
we can cater to that. We're not experts at anything.
Yeah, we're moderately experts at most things.
At most things.
Yeah. We're Renaissance men.
If you read through this website.
But we're guilty of being Renaissance men.
Well,
right?
This website will list like a bunch of multi-potentiality.
Okay, so let's hear who they are.
Well, I mean, I don't have the list in front of me, but like there are people like Leonardo da Vinci and people like this who
that was exactly who I was about to bring up. Was Da Vinci was a Renaissance man. He was the first Renaissance man.
Like these people were just had a billion. Their brains went in a billion different ways.
They were part scientist and part philosopher,
and part artist, and part. Exactly. They were painting and designing and the engineering and
they would say Nikolai Tesla was one of these people.
Like a little bit, obviously. Couldn't But I mean that sounds pretentious,
and we're not nearly like.
And I don't even like multi-potentialite, meaning that like I have multi-potentials. Again, that sounds.
It sounds very pretentious.
It does very
remarkably.
I don't like the word. I wish there was a different word for it
because we're also nonconformist at core too. So fuck labels.
Well, hugely because everyone who's successful in this world is an expert in something. And if you are not focused on a singular thing, I mean, how many times have you read a self-help book that says follow your passion? Well, wait a minute. What if you have 20 passions? How do you follow 20 of them? I mean, I really, when I put the bow in my hand, the first time I got the bow, and I went to the pro shop, and they set me up, make sure my draw length, my poundage, everything was good. And I shot that first arrow to the target. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then as I was shooting more and more and more, it was like, this is really cool. I started to become engaged in it. Then I started reading up on it and arrow flight path and what's causing. I was missing a little bit to the right. What was causing me to miss to the right? And then I started reading, and then I started seeing the millions of little intricacies that was causing that affects arrow flight. And then I became engrossed. I'm telling you, I've lost sleep over archery, and I just started it. How long ago? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Should I be losing sleep about archery that I just started 3 weeks ago? I'm losing sleep about it. So much so that I'm not convinced that the pro shop that I went to set me up properly. So I decided to learn how to work on the bow myself. And that's why there's a vise screwed to this table and why I have a bow press. I mean, a cheap portable one, a $30 one, but it presses my bow and it allows me to change my knocking points and my D loops and my.
But it seems to me like you're a victim of way too much information on the internet.
Now, yes. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a middle of the road thing.
Middle of the road.
I think the internet is an amazing thing in moderation, but it can cause overload. I mean, so here's the difference between you and me.
Like rice and potatoes, like moderation.
Yeah, everything, all things in moderation, right? Like,
right.
Should my kid eat Jell-O pudding every day? No, but every fourth day is probably okay.
Right.
So I believe in all things in moderation, but I'm everything that you talked about, but I am more about things in the past and not necessarily dwelling in the present. And maybe that's my fucking big drawback of things is like I live in.
You live in the past?
Well,
that's not good.
Not necessarily in the past, but I'm reading things written in the past to help me see things that'll happen in the future. And also I live in a fantasy land. Predominantly where I live, right? It's not interesting to listen to fucking CNN every night, listen to Fox News every night, and fucking Trump is fucking evil, and fucking so-and-so is evil, fucking Kim Jong-un, blah, blah. It's I don't fucking care. I don't care. It's bullshit. It just bothers me.
Right.
It just agitates me. There's no answer, right? We talked about it here. We talked about it the last time we got together. There's no fucking answer, right? You and I can't solve this problem.
Right.
If we could fucking wave a red flag and a black flag and revolt the whole fucking country against everything and the whole system would turn itself upside down, be done, right? But it's not that easy. But I think the internet can be a bad thing in too much. It's too much information, dude.
So you're saying I'm on the internet too
You're
much.
overly analyzing yourself. You're overly critical of yourself. You know what? Maybe you're not going to be a great fucking archer. Maybe you're not going to be a fucking great...
Probably not.
Right,
How could I be?
Maybe
I'm 45 years old.
Day,
how am I going to become a great archer?
Maybe the other part of what we're saying is that we think we're so great because we're all these things, but maybe we're only mediocre at everything.
Yeah, but that makes you nothing in today's society.
But isn't that okay because you're still you? Do you have to
internally?
Does everyone have
like
to be
my
great?
Kids?
Well,
am I worth anything to my kids? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
probably.
Dude, you're everything to your kids.
Right. To my wife, yeah, probably. To myself, I should be, right? I don't think I am.
But see, and that's what fuels.
I don't think I am.
But that's what fuels your expanse, right? Because you to yourself, you feel to be.
I can be more
complete. You need to branch yourself out, right?
I feel like I can be more.
You could be more,
and I feel like.
But by not being,
but I don't know what that thing is.
But by not like the greatest archer is the greatest archer, but he's also not the greatest writer. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is a great archer and a great writer at the same time. Nobody.
Right.
Except for fucking Leonardo da Vinci, who was a great scientist and a great painter and a great whatever. You have those rare minds, but it doesn't diminish you for who you are.
I feel diminished.
Well, I think we both do after this conversation, because we started off as we're these great people who can do everything, but then we're not really great at anything. We're mediocre at everything.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the reality, though.
If I have one expertise, it's in food and food service, because I spent 20 plus years probably doing it. But there's just so many other things. There's so many other things that you want to be involved in. Yeah, that I can't. I don't. Again, it's not ADD.
But it's close though, because you can't commit. Can't commit to one thing.
No, but I do. I commit to all of them.
But most people commit to one thing.
Right. I can't do it. Mary
Lou Renner committed to gymnastics. Mary Lou Renner? No.
Retton.
Mary Lou Retton. What the fuck's that bitch's name?
Renner. You mixed Jenner. You got Jenner and Retton.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, you went Renner.
That's it.
It's all right.
Jeremy Renner?
I don't know who
that's is. That's Hawkeye.
Who?
From Avengers.
Oh my god!
But I'm saying though, most people, their minds are more narrow and they're focused on. They're able to focus on what they are good at, and they do it.
So what am I good at?
I don't know. But what are you good at? A little bit of everything. I'm good at being entertaining. I'm good at talking. You know what? I don't
know. Is this entertaining? I don't even know. I
don't know.
Maybe.
So not. Somebody out there tell us.
Maybe somebody feels the same way.
Well, yeah, and that's true too. I think. I don't know.
We can't. Why? I mean, this website is proof that I'm not the only one who feels this way.
Somebody created a website and bought a domain, so there's something to it.
I mean, there's books, there's stuff. I mean, I don't know.
There's self-help books.
No, I mean, I don't know if there's self-help books. Let's see the name of this book. Let's see. This person they were featured on TED, the New York Times, Fast Company, Huffington Post, Life Hacker, Forbes, Financial Times,
Teddy Bear movie,
New York Magazine. But let's see, How to Be Everything is the name of the book.
But nobody can be everything well. There's not a single person who's been that guy.
Renaissance business, Renaissance. I don't know. Start here. I don't even know what the fuck.
You're clicking stuff.
I don't know. Yeah, no.
And when we do topics like this, and everything that I want to talk about seems so small compared to this shit.
What do you mean? You wanted to talk about Captain Marvel.
I want to talk about Captain Marvel. I'm like, how do I talk about Captain Marvel after that fucking conversation?
We got 20 more minutes. If you want to talk about
20 minutes. Well, I mean, I didn't want to mention it. I don't even know.
Talk about Captain Marvel. I mean,
you haven't seen it yet, so how can we talk about it?
I know her pants were too loose.
Who said that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I saw they were They showed pictures of the drawing, and then they showed her.
I thought it was,
and she was not. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but
she's way too much actress for the movie. To be honest with you, Brie Larson is an amazing actress.
Yeah,
and they didn't give her enough to do.
They didn't?
No, not nearly enough to do. And she's great. If you want to see Brie Larson like at her best, there's a movie called Room, where she's pretty much.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that movie. I haven't seen it.
It's on Netflix. It's an amazing movie. She's really.
I have to watch that movie. So many people have mentioned that movie to me, and I haven't seen it.
It's really good. I mean, it's about I don't know if you know what it's about, but this guy basically kidnaps this teenage girl, puts her in a room. He abuses her, impregnates her. She has a kid. The kid grows up in the room. He calls it Room. And then they escape the room, but it's about.
Well, no, I'm not going to watch the movie.
No, it's crazy. No.
I'm only kidding.
No, it's dark, but the dark part of the movie.
No, and I just meant that you told me the whole fucking.
Well, no, it's not. It's not really, because it's about people who are used to one thing and they're adapting to something else, and what does that mean? And the acting it's incredible. I mean, it's incredible. And so you look at Brie Larson, and she's done a lot of good stuff, and you're like, okay, so it was a very
Was she
good.
On Community?
She wasn't on Community. She was on a show called United States of Terror, which I watched. She was a daughter to a woman who had multiple personality disorder.
What else was she on? There's something I saw.
After that, she's done a bunch of other movies, but they've all been pretty small. But she's really, really good. She was great as a very young girl on United States of Terror. But it's too much for what they need for Captain Marvel, and she plays it very, like, straight. It's set in the 90s, which is awesome.
Do I need to see this in order to watch Infinity War?
No, not necessarily. No,
okay.
No. It's set in
I guess I should go see it.
Well, it's set in the 90s,
in the theaters
so
now, right?
It should be, like, right up your alley, right? I mean...
I love the 90s. 90s were
But
fun.
they don't lean into the 90s enough. Like, a lot of people were like... I've had conversations with people that are like, oh, I didn't realize that was the 90s.
Well, why is it the 90s? Is it the 90s because you read the comimic books?
No,
or
because it's legitimately set in the 90s. Because the whole movie is... There's a lot of flashback, flash forward stuff in the movie.
Well, one of the things I love about Stranger Things is how well they do the 80s.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, I think you have to lean into it and embrace the time. And no, I love Stranger Things for the same reason. They don't really lean into the 90s. The other thing is... and
the cars, the clothes.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where somebody's driving a car and it's not even a 90s car. It's like they don't pay any attention to it.
Oh.
So you're going to hear a lot of different things, and I think it's going to sound bad for me to
Should
say.
I do the Captain Marvel script right now?
Well, what do you think happens in the movie?
No, I really don't know. I didn't really read a lot about Captain Marvel, other than I think that she's supposedly like Marvel's answer to Superman, right? Like she's like Superwoman.
Slightly, yeah. She's
like she's immensely powerful.
She's pretty powerful, yeah.
Yeah.
So she'll be.
I don't have a Captain Marvel script.
No, I won't pretend to be like a massive Captain Marvel fan before, male, female, or otherwise.
We should roll up a character. We should roll up a hero.
You want to roll one up?
And just fucking write the screenplay right now.
No, it's...
No, well, not right now. I don't know.
She'll be a major...
Can we write a screenplay in 5 minutes?
We could probably. She'll be a major player in Endgame, but I don't think...
I won't have to watch Captain Marvel to
No, you won't. You won't.
When's Endgame coming?
Endgame comes in May.
In May. That's early.
Yeah.
You would think that they waited a little bit longer.
Yeah, so Endgame is May, and then the new Spider-Man is July. So it happens pretty quickly.
When should I sell my Disney stock?
I wouldn't do that anytime soon.
Really?
I would wait to see. So 2 things. At the end of the year,
even though
they release episode 9.
What about, like, what are they coming out with? Aladdin?
They're coming out with a live-action Dumbo, live-action Aladdin.
I feel like we're going back 20 years now.
Yeah. No. Well, because you
like
can't
two others.
Because nobody wants to watch a cartoon anymore. They want to see like a real fucking lion with its lips moving. Because we have that capability now.
Yeah, but we already saw Narnia.
No. No, nobody wants to see that Narnia shit, though. That's too Christian. Narnia is too
Narnia
Christian.
has a talking lion in it.
Yeah, but Aslan is straight up Jesus. Let's not.
Oh well, yeah.
It's not even. It's not even marginally hidden how religious that movie is. So
it is. They were a little too on the nose.
He gets almost crucified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost exactly crucified. It's
like Riggs.
Yeah. It's what the fuck?
I'm only kidding. No, I don't mean like that.
Shit.
I mean like Riggs was crucified.
He was crucified, but I didn't think about it.
No, but there was no Jesus connotations there whatsoever.
What if Riggs were to rise from the grave?
Ooh.
Oh shit! How can I do that? I'm gonna work on that.
Pet Cemetery.
Yeah. Which they're redoing, dude. What the fuck? Why?
I don't know. I wrote Secret Window. What is it called?
What?
What's it called? Secret Garden.
Secret Garden, yeah.
Secret Garden, Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it just made me think of Stephen King, and I started thinking that still pisses me. Every time I think of Stephen King, I think of the script I poured my heart into, and that he fucking wrote 10 years earlier.
Yeah, well, it doesn't hurt that he wrote. It doesn't help that he wrote everything. Constantly.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't write something that he didn't write, I guess.
Yeah, he wrote so much that I don't know.
Do you like
He's actually the most prolific writer when you think about it.
Do you
for
like
us?
Do you like cocaine Stephen King or post cocaine?
I like cocaine Stephen King.
Yeah,
I'm good for that. That's like Cujo, Salem's Lot, Stephen King.
That's the cocaine Stephen King was.
I read everything that Stephen King did, probably up to like Dolores Claiborne. I read Dolores Claiborne. I'm like, it's okay. It's a good movie.
I wanted to read Mist.
The Mist is a great book.
I want to read that.
They made some good movies subsequently, but
I want to read the book.
Did I tell you that I did put together a top 10 list for?
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's do a top 10 list to close the show out. Top 10 list of what?
Post-apocalyptic movies.
Okay, Road Warrior.
What do you think that is, though?
It's got to be in like 3.
In the top 3. All right. So you're right. Which is easy because, I mean, and this is not like disaster movies because that's a whole different breed of movies. Like
the post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic is
2012 doesn't count. That's a disaster.
It's after, yeah. So starting at number 10 is
number 10.
I said The Road, which is a great movie, and it's even better book. But
that was the book that you told me to read. I haven't read it yet.
It's a great book. Yeah, it's
Jack Kerouac.
No,
John McCormack
or Cormac McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy.
That's it.
Sorry.
Great book. It's a very good movie, starring Viggo Mortensen as a father.
Oh, okay.
I just watched it the other day. It's good. I hate putting it at 10, but there's a lot of good movies here. Number 9, I put The Matrix.
The Matrix
is a great sci-fi movie.
Great movie.
Yes. So
I mean, not the trilogy. The Matrix.
Just The Matrix. Yes.
Is a great.
movie. I'm not even getting into like you could say The Road Warrior.
That movie's yes.
Is Mad Max an amazing movie? It's an okay movie.
Yeah,
Mad Max
is a pretty good movie, but
Beyond Thunderdome is okay.
No.
But The Road Warrior is amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
The Matrix spoke to me on some other level, like with the whole you're going through life feeling like there's something off.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Well, and you're on a path.
That's such a fucking deep thing. And like when I'm watching, it's like, do you feel like something's not right? Yes, I feel
you're on a path
way.
that somebody put you on that you don't want to be on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which is very similar to what we were just talking about.
Why the fuck am I doing this?
There's something wrong here.
Yep. And you find out.
And even like now, I mean, Elon Musk says we're in a simulation.
Yeah.
He fucking believes it, I think.
There's a lot of philosophers that say
And it's possible.
We're the dream of a greater being and all this other fucking
totally
shit. But,
possible.
But that's what the Matrix is. Holy fuck. You're woke. You're woke as fuck, and you're like, where the fuck am I?
Red pill, blue pill, the whole damn thing. It's great.
It
great
is.
Stuff.
It goes downhill after that. So that's my number 9. It is a post-apocalyptic movie.
I'm glad you put that in there, though. That's good. Go ahead.
And it's hard for me to put it at 9, but it's a great movie.
As opposed to what?
So
you mean higher up or not on the list at all?
No, I mean it's right there. There's some honorable mentions here that I'll go over, but number 8 is Book of Eli with Denzel Washington.
I wanted to see a movie and I didn't see it, and it pissed me off that I didn't see it because it looked like a great movie.
It's a good movie.
One of the few times I looked at a trailer and said, I want to see this movie.
I have this movie. I own this movie because my wife loves Denzel Washington, so it's really good.
She also loves Snoop Dogg.
Yes. Anyone that's not me, apparently. But Book of Eli,
I gotta get her Snoop on the stoop.
It's really good. If you want to borrow it, I really do. It's a fun movie.
Is it on Netflix or anything, or do I have to pay for it?
I don't know.
If I have to pay for it, I'll borrow it. But I don't have a DVD player in my living room.
Holy shit! What the fuck? Dude?
I know.
So I can let you borrow it, but if it's, I don't know where it is.
You have to give me that and Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow that. I think I have almost every movie on this list, which is funny. But so
you have
8,
that cabinet full. Your house is like Blockbuster Video.
Yeah, I mean, I realize it with my kids that my kids have really eclectic taste in movies because it's really my fault. My wife says that's your fault, but
I love going to your house and like looking at your collection. You have like you seriously have a video store in your house.
Yeah. My whole thought was like if there was a nuclear war that I could.
Yeah, we have to drag that shit in this bunker.
Oh yeah,
right? Right away.
We need to get that here.
There's 20 years. There's 20 years of entertainment.
That and my books, and we're good. Like key factors of literature.
Definitely, like you don't need another thing.
I almost honestly feel that way. Like I'm keeping for posterity's sake.
Yeah, no, I do feel it. Oh, you mean? Oh,
like legitimately, like
possible,
this is a library for my kids for the future.
Yes, right? I feel that way. I have a book list for my kids.
There's also like a part of me that's like, I want my kids to pull a book off the shelf when I'm like gone for 10 years and read it and like go, oh my God, that's like my dad said that at some point. Like I want them to like have this epiphany to be like, holy fuck. And like, touch me.
You got to
do
that. You have to, and I didn't buy them yet, but I'm doing it. I have in my one of my note apps, a list of books that my kids have to read.
Yeah.
And I am going to buy them each their own set of those books. And so far it's about like 12 books deep.
Yeah.
You have to read these 12 books.
Yeah.
And some of them are life lessons. Some of them there's fiction, there's nonfiction, there's beautiful stories, there's sad stories, there's so much to learn from those books. Like you read a book and you feel like that it changes you, and then you feel like it changes you in a good way, and then you want your kids to experience it. So yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. I really understand that.
No,
but you can't just have a bookcase full of books because they won't
read all the books.
Yeah, they won't know which to pick out and when. Like I want to just say, here are the 15 books.
Yeah.
Start at book 1 and finish them.
I don't know if I could do that though, because I feel like it's such a composite, but it's a good idea. I should see if I can narrow it down.
Good Omens is on that list.
So yeah, that's a great book. So
fantastic book.
So that's number 8 is Book of Eli. It's a good movie. There's a great twist at the end. I won't ruin it.
Don't ruin it.
It's very Road Warrior.
Is there a book? Is that a book? Or is it an adaptation? Or it's a movie?
It's probably most things, good things are adaptations, but I'm not 100% sure. Regardless, it's a well done movie with a good twist at the end. Denzel Washington's awesome. Great. Yeah. It's very Road Warrior-esque. So number 7 is, I picked the original.
I don't mean to interrupt you. My wife can't watch Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is such a good actor that she cannot watch any more Denzel Washington movies since Training Day.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. Was that movie? He was such a scumbag. in that movie.
So she hates him.
That she hates him as a person.
Really?
That's how good he was.
She couldn't let it go.
Yeah. No, she can't. She's like, I can't watch this movie. Denzel Washington's in it, and it's not like a racist thing. It's. She's like, I can't stop thinking of Training Day. Denzel Washington in Training Day is messed up.
Yeah, no, he's over the top. But how is your wife friends with my wife? Because my wife is the exact opposite. She's like, she loves Denzel.
I know, but she dug him in Training Day.
In everything. Yeah, she has every.
No, you can't like Denzel in Training Day.
She loves every Denzel.
Not even not him as a person, but just you can't.
No,
if you watch Training Day and then watch another movie with Denzel Washington, it's like hard to get that out of your head. It's like you can't watch Mark Hamill without thinking of Luke Skywalker.
No, it's a prolific role, clearly. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. My wife she loves Denzel. She doesn't. She's willing to turn the page quickly. So I don't know.
It's very forgiving.
Yeah. Well, for most
so
number 7.
Book of Eli was 8.
Yeah. So number 7 was the original Red Dawn with C. Thomas Howell and Patrick Swayze.
Why do I feel like I saw that movie?
That was a bunch of kids in a small town.
Was that an 80s movie?
80s movie.
Okay.
Russians invade their town and they Wolverines, right?
Yes.
It's prolific. It's a kind of a Brat Pack. It's kind of a Brat Pack movie for apocalypse.
Are you like maybe reaching towards? Is that the grass is greener? Is that one of those things where you look in the past and the past is better? I like when's the last time you watched it?
I haven't watched it in a while. But Harry Dean Stanton is in it, Avenge me, boys! Avenge me!
I don't know. I don't know if that holds up. But go ahead. All right.
It might not. I mean, look, let's face it. That's a Cold War. It's a Cold War movie.
I'm here to criticize?
No.
I'm here to
chime in.
What am I here for? Chime in.
Chiming in, yeah. So, number 6. Coming in at number 6 is 12 Monkeys, which I think is a great movie.
Excellent movie.
It's a Terry Gilliam movie, I love Terry Gilliam. All the way back to
awesome.
back to Monty Python stuff. And you got Brad Pitt and you got
Bruce Willis,
and it's mind bending. You get a lot of time back and forth, and it's a great movie. Just generally great movie.
No, I'm with you there. That's a good movie.
Number 6, number 5. Now this is one that most people may not know, but it's a movie called A Boy and His Dog. Which was
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a movie. It's actually a very young Don Johnson movie.
Don Johnson?
Yep.
I love Don Johnson.
Extremely young Don Johnson.
I went to my junior prom in a Miami Vice Don Johnson outfit.
Okay. That doesn't help me.
It was a shiny blue shirt and a white jacket and white pants.
So the cool thing about this movie
and a white tie.
The cool thing about this movie is,
and I had a 9mm in my.
You did not. You had no fucking 9mm. You did not.
And I had this black friend McCurley.
And you have ankle socks on.
I had no socks on. Don Johnson wears socks. What the fuck?
And you had a crocodile named Elvis.
Yes.
On your boat.
On my boat.
That's all
that I lived on.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. And no.
This
socks.
is pre-way.
I can't believe you think Don Johnson wore socks. But go ahead.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it was a Miami Vice guy.
Well, you weren't a Miami Vice guy?
My dad was. But
your dad was? What are you trying to say?
I don't know.
Miami Vice was amazing.
No, it was prolific. It was Michael Mann. It was great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the time, I don't know if I appreciated it.
Hans Miller? Was that it? Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah. He did a lot of the music for Miami Vice. Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman.
Yeah. What was the name of Crockett? Who played Crockett on Miami Vice?
Don Johnson.
And who played Tubbs on Miami Vice?
Shit. Now you're making me like a racist.
Philip
Michael Thomas.
Yes. That would be Tubbs.
I'm trying to pull a race card on me.
I'm that's you. It's all you.
I wanted his freaking Testarossa. That's what I wanted.
So anyways, A Boy and His Dog is Don Johnson way before Miami Vice in a post-apocalyptic society where, based on a book that won science fiction awards, like hardcore, what's the big science fiction novel award? I'm brain farting.
James Beard is cooking. Sorry, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, it's like a Nebula Award. Is that what it's called?
Something like that.
About like that. So, I mean, great story. and about society and how it degenerates and how major like things are like weapons and food and women, and how that all affects society, and how you have this young teenage kid and how that is like his angle on everything. And it's a great movie. It's not exactly.
Sounds interesting. Did he drive a Testarossa?
And then he's got a dog with him that has telepathy that talks to him. And it's a crazy movie, and it is exactly what inspired.
It sounds like Mystery Science Theater 3000 stuff.
It would be, but it's better than that, and it's profound because it is what inspired the Road Warrior. It is what inspired the Road Warrior.
Okay.
So it's worth watching.
So if it's a precursor to that.
And I remember watching it when I was a kid, and it was a big thing. It's a titillating show because there's a lot of sex to it. But you would think that if
there's sex in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a major component. It's weapons, food, and sex.
Okay. That's what Don Johnson was in?
Yeah.
Does he take his shirt off?
I don't know. I paid
Not that I'm interested, but.
So let's move on to number 4 so we can finish this up. Number 4.
I'm stretching this out.
You are
too much.
I'm
having a couple of beers.
Let's make this 2 episodes.
We can make it 3 episodes.
3 episodes? Okay.
Well, we're behind on episodes. We need to.
Let's make it 4 episodes. Fuck it.
We need another multipotential. We need to come up with a topic for multipotentialites. Go ahead.
So number 4.
Whatever they're called. Multipods.
Number 4.
Yep.
Post-apocalyptic movie.
Yes.
Terminator.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great movie. Now, while it's not directly about the post-apocalypse,
yes, it is.
It's about averting that apocalypse.
No, it's a post-apocalypse.
Yeah, but the original is great in that way. Of course, T2 is also amazing. Anything after that, it gets a little bit sketchy, but Terminator is my number 4 for a post-apocalyptic movie. Holy shit. Oh, number 3.
Road Warrior.
Escape from New York.
Oh.
With Snake Plissken, right? It's another prolific character.
Was Kurt Russell in there?
Kurt Russell was Snake Plissken. He went into New York to rescue the president. The president was, I think, Donald Pleasance.
I don't remember the character names.
Yeah, no, I
remember the actor.
It's a great movie. Once again, they're talking about remaking it, which makes me very unhappy because I love the original Escape from New York. So that's my number 3. Number 2,
Star Wars.
No, Dawn of the Dead. Now,
I was going to ask as a joke if Dawn of the Dead or Return of the Living Dead were in this, but is that post-apocalyptic or just freaking alternate?
Dude, how many times
stuff?
When you were a kid did you think about the idea that if a zombie apocalypse happened, where would you want to be?
In a supermarket.
Or a mall. Or in a mall.
Mall.
Right?
That's right.
Remember, they were in a mall.
Return of the Living Dead was a supermarket.
Yeah. They had everything they needed in the mall.
They had the guy from the Pathmark commercials in that.
Until the fucking bikers came and fucked up the mall, right? And you're like, oh, this is what I would do. I would weld plates. I'd fucking go in a mall. And that would be like, I'd have everything I needed in a mall. And I remember thinking that as a kid of like, this is where I would want to be. And
now you want to be in a bunker.
Yeah, a bunker would be perfect. But
Doomsday Doopy-Doo.
Exactly. DoomsdayDoopy-Doo.com, #DoomsdayDoopy-Doo. But that was what I thought about.
Click on the Amazon link.
And Dawn of the Dead did it before anything else did. Return of the Living Dead didn't. They were in a fucking house. It wasn't exactly the same. But it thought about, okay, this is where I want to end
Dawn of the Dead was a good movie.
That's my number 2.
Dawn of the Dead was a great movie, actually.
It really was good. So, and my number 1 is, of course, it's a Road Warrior. It did it better than anybody else. I mean, it was amazing.
Where's Waterworld on this?
Some honorable mention. I don't have Waterworld because that was way off the scale, but I do have
It's off the scale.
I do have the Omega Man is on here.
Okay, Lawnmower Man.
Children of Men is on here.
Children of the Corn.
I don't have Children of the Corn. And I have 28 Days Later on
28 Days Later. I heard it was a good movie. Did not see it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. That made it to my list. I think I got like 13 or 14 here, but that was I thought about it.
The plot of 28 Days Later is that have to do with he has like sex with his wife and he thinks that
he might have sex 28 days later, but
no. He the condom breaks.
And then what?
And it's 28 days later, and then
she hasn't had her period yet?
She doesn't. Is that what it is? Is that what the movie's about?
No.
Oh.
It's it's the same thing, but he has sex with, he has a one night stand with somebody.
Oh, it is menstrual cycle related.
Not menstrual cycle though. He has a
menstrual
one-night
cycle is
stand,
28 days.
And then 28 days later, he finds out that he has gonorrhea.
Is the menstrual cycle 28 days?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I try not to get involved in that.
Yeah. It's a strange bike.
It's what?
The menstrual cycle.
It's a strange bike.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We should write them the 28 days later.
You want to write a different 28 days later?
Yeah, we should. And it should be about a menstrual cycle.
Let's call it another 28 days later.
Another 28 days later.
The guy has one kid.
Yes.
And then 28 days later, he realizes he's going to have another
He's got to
kid.
be old, though.
He's got to be like 49.
Yeah, it's got to be like he doesn't want this kid.
Well, it's not that he doesn't want
a kid.
He's not expecting
too
it.
old.
He's too fucking old.
He's too old and too tired.
He's too old to be.
He's a welder.
Yeah, because young kids are.
He's a welder from Flashdance.
Okay, so he's a welder. He's 40. He's 49.
He's 49,
and he
comes home like covered in soot every day.
And he fucks his wife.
Right, and he makes love to his wife.
He fucks her. Or he makes love to her.
He makes love to her.
Okay,
and it's great. But
it's great.
He had a vasectomy, but you have to
but he skimped on the vasectomy.
No, he paid full price, but when you have to go get tested. Did you know that? The vasectomies aren't automatic.
Okay.
So you have to go.
I thought you had to like jerk off 10 times after you have a vasectomy just to make sure that the gun is unloaded.
Maybe. That's a case for having a vasectomy. But if you have a vasectomy, you have to go. So he goes and he gets tested.
So he
gets the negative.
He jerks off at the doctor's office.
And he gets a negative result.
And they say you're clear.
Right. This is like the first maybe 10 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
But you're supposed to go back and get a second negative.
Okay.
If you don't get the second negative tells you you're clear.
Yeah. But if
you get a positive, then that means you have to wait.
But there's like one sperm, literally like he has one bullet.
No, I know some of this happened too.
Okay.
So they thought he was good because he got the negative, but didn't.
But what does that mean? Like part of your fucking vas deferens is still connected? How the fuck?
Or there's just like some leftovers.
There's just a rando sperm.
Yeah.
Well, the kid's got to be like what? He has got to have like 4 heads or something.
No. Why?
The motility. No, but the motility
like
of the sperm, like in the vas deferens, like that's after a surgery.
No, it must be like super
jerking off 10
super
times?
sperm at that point. I mean, if you're surviving a vasectomy, that's going to be like that's going to be a special kid.
I think you would say it's either super sperm or stubborn sperm.
Yeah, either one. It's a good strong kid.
Okay.
But and then he there's got to be a reason why he has sex. Not reason why he has sex, but reason what is it? Maybe angry sex the second time? Like maybe they fight. They have a big fight.
They fight in the morning, and he comes home late at night.
Yeah, and just covered in soot again.
And he's like a chimney sweep.
Yeah, and he realizes
makes love to her.
Yeah,
and she thinks he's
like 9.5 weeks sex.
But she thinks he's black though because he's covered in soot.
Oh, like she puts like a mask on him.
Well, because he thinks, she's like,
or she just looks at him like they have turned the lights out.
Like it's kinky to her. She thinks it's kinky
because he's covered in soot.
Because he's covered in soot, and she's like, "Oh yes, Mandingo, take me."
Yes, and then he goes through he goes through. I was going to say he goes through emotions, but that sounds pathetic.
No, he's not going through emotions.
He's not going through emotions.
He's into it.
He's into it.
He's like, she's into it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
So he just takes her.
Right. And then everything is like great. They're like they go on these dates, and there's like this montage of them like on the boardwalk.
Yeah. After that, they reconcile. Almost.
Everything's awesome.
Yeah, that fixes everything.
And then 28 days later,
he's like, "Fuck."
She's like,
"I'm too old."
He comes home covered in soot again.
Yeah.
And
And she's like, stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah. And everything's changed. She's got a different attitude.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
It could be an interesting movie.
And he's not having a kid till he's 50.
Right.
And he's just tired, dude.
Yeah.
He's a fucking chimney sweep or whatever.
Yeah. And he's
a coal miner.
Yeah.
He's covered in
so
soot
he starts drinking.
He's drinking. Okay.
Yeah, because now she's not, and then she's very, her parents are very religious.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and she's, too attached to her parents. And she listens to them too much.
Okay.
Something they fight about. And so she still has, so she just continues to go forward with the pregnancy, and he just starts drinking.
And then what?
And then it's another 28 days later.
And then they have the kid.
And you can't have a kid in 56 days.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And it takes longer than that, I think.
How many days is it to have a kid? It seems like a long time.
Yeah.
In days.
Wait, you said it's another 28 days later in the same movie.
Oh, so you only want to cover like one trimester?
No. I mean, no. We did the first and another 20. So now we're on another.
Well, it's 9 months, so it's 3 month cycles. So 28 days is 1 month. Are we talking about like a 9 sequel movie here? We could really milk. I mean, if we get like Fox or somebody behind this, they could really. I just don't know if we have enough material. Because like month 2 is pretty mundane, but month 8 is like fucking nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, then there's another 28 days, the gender reveal.
Oh shit! So another 28 days, the gender reveal. So it's also like another 28 days. She tells her parents. That's like the sequel, right?
Yeah, and they how would they do the gender reveal? Would that be a piñata, or
it could be like a cake with a different icing inside? It depends. Or you could throw a baseball with like a different color powder in it.
Oh, and then they hit it?
Yeah, and then they hit it, and then you could see.
Why does that sound familiar? Did we just talk? Did someone just do this?
Somebody did just do this.
Someone did just do that, right?
Yeah.
That we know.
No, we know, though. It was a good idea, though.
Was it Brian? I think Brian did.
But it's just, I think it's better if it's a boy when you hit the ball.
And what if you swing and miss?
Well, that's a whole other thing. I don't even think
bad luck?
He wasn't even swinging. It was somebody else swinging.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, anyway, so they do a baseball gender reveal.
Yeah. They do a baseball gender reveal. And they find out that it's
yet another girl.
It's twins. It's twin girls.
It's twin girls.
Yeah.
And he's like not only he already has 2 girls.
Yeah.
So now he's gonna have 2 more girls.
Yep. He's gonna have 4 girls.
And so now he's got to tell his war veteran father
that he's not gonna have a grandson.
He's not gonna have a grandson.
Yeah. And he doesn't approve of it at all.
And he thinks A, that he's too old, B, that he doesn't make enough money, and C, that
he's not man enough to father
a son.
Exactly. Yeah, you're not man enough. So there's a whole conflict there.
So he just starts drinking more.
That's a whole movie. That's like 2
he switches
hours.
to cocaine.
He does.
And heroin.
He also starts slamming a lot of horse and junk.
He starts slamming.
He goes down. He goes down.
He starts chasing the dragon.
He does. Yeah, he chases the dragon.
And she gets upset because he starts getting distant, and she starts to wonder if it's got to do with the baby.
Yeah. The babies, because it's more than one. Because she's huge at this point.
Then another 28 days later.
Yeah, another 28 days later. It's really a brutal. Like a lot of people think like there's movies that take people down the spiral, but we're gonna take them so far down, so far down.
Oh my god! How long is this episode?
It's way long.
We're approaching 2 hours. We're trying to make up. You know what it is? We're trying to make up for having missed episodes. So
yeah.
So listen, folks.
So we have 2 more months to go. Let's finish with the.
Oh, you want to go 2 more months?
I'm kidding.
Is it 2 more months?
We don't have to finish. I'm kidding.
I know. Wait. So where were we?
He was very depressed. He's right on the precipice.
Depressed.
He pretty much has a gun in his mouth.
He's got
like at one point he's in the living room.
Yes,
and
there's definitely like lethal weapon. Like he's got it.
Yeah,
not in his mouth, like pressing against his forehead.
Yeah, he can't think of a reason why not to do it.
Yeah,
other than the fact that he has these 2 other kids, and he's like, I gotta.
Yeah,
He hears his father's voice in his head, like, you're fucking not a man, you're a fucking piece of shit. Right. He hears his friends, you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're fucking too old for this shit.
He thinks he's better off. Yep. He's better off for all these kids if he wasn't around.
Yep. Can't think of a reason why not to do it.
Can't think of a reason not to do it.
Yep. And then what happens?
He pulls the trigger.
Okay, but
it doesn't go off.
It doesn't go off. It misfires. Does it misfire?
It's a misfire.
It's a bad bullet.
It's a bad bullet.
So it goes off, it pop, and it jams and nothing. Right?
And he breaks down crying because he doesn't even have the proficiency to kill himself.
Jesus Christ. So is he giving up? Is he just giving up on life? I like that we're exploring this because this is exactly what I told you we should do. So he's just like, I can't do anything right. No, I can't do anything.
He throws the gun across the room.
He tries to ram his head through the wall, like he rams it into the drywall. He cracks and crushes it, but he can't even kill himself right.
No, he's
a fucking piece of shit.
He's the loser that his father said he is.
But now he has to pick himself up, right?
So then there's got to be a scene with a little girl in a balloon.
All right. Well, I think this is too soon for that. Without it,
I'm just wondering how to squeeze that scene in.
Well, there's a part where
scene's gonna happen.
There's a scene where
it's gotta be a scene with a little girl in a balloon.
He smears his shit on the walls at one point.
Oh, he smears his shit on the walls. Okay. Yes. Is that after the failed suicide?
After the bullet goes off, and he just smears his shit on the wall. And he when he smears his shit on the wall, it creates this shadow. And he's looking at this shadow, and he keeps working it, and he keeps working it. And
he's like at this point, he's sculpting on the wall.
Yeah, he's sculpting his shit in the wall, and he starts to see this face, and he starts to work it, and it starts to cast a shadow, and the next thing you know, it's this visage, it's this image on the wall that he's kind of shaded into the wall with his own feces.
So then he passes out.
Okay.
After this, because he was so fucked on heroin when he did it.
Yes.
And then his wife's gay friend comes to the house.
Okay. Sure.
And he looks at the wall.
Okay.
And he thinks it was art.
Yeah.
That it's some piece of artwork.
He's like a Jackson Pollock of shit.
And yes. And but no, it's just like this beautiful thing on the wall. Yeah.
And it's a girl. It's a little girl too, which is the irony of it. It's like a little girl.
And he's got these art connections, and he thinks that he can maybe get him out of the welding.
Okay. Because now he works in shit instead of iron.
So he tells him he's going to bring him. He usually takes pictures of it, and he brings it to his place. And the guy says that he wants more, and so he's at the welding facility, and he has a couple of drinks because he's still a bit of a drunk, and he's working, and it says he just doesn't feel fulfilled in this place, and he starts to while he's taking a shit in the stall, he starts smearing the shit on the walls of the stall. And he's making this artwork on the walls.
And then?
And then he, of course, he gets fired because so now he's got no job, and he's just, and he decides that he's not going to let his father define who he is, or anyone for that matter, and he decides to go smear shit everywhere.
Well, and one of the things that happens is because he is such a prolific drunk, and subsequently such a prolific artist at the same time, because when he's drunk, he's free to express himself in his medium,
right,
that he's into.
Right.
He is creating this art everywhere, so that it begins to permeate like every aspect of culture. It's like on every platform of media, yep. And it begins to proliferate itself through.
He calls it chart.
Shart. Yes, it's Shart. He's a Shartist. And he becomes reconnects with himself, and he reconnects with his soul and his artistic nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts to bring him slowly back to like sanity, away from like this edge of sanity, like that month 5, 6, and 7, like almost broke him.
Right. Then another 28 days later.
Yeah. And he's in month 8, which is like, yeah, that's like really waiting.
And there's
a whole part where he extensively plans where like he wants to like his wife is pregnant, and what he wants to do is jump out and scare her into labor, like into early labor. So there's like a whole like a 14-day period where he's just walking around in a scare mask, just trying to scare the shit out of her.
Just trying to scare her.
Yeah, just trying to trip her and scare the shit out of her into having the baby like a month early.
Right. And then her gay friend comes back over.
Fucking gay friend. This guy won't stay away.
And he thinks it's hilarious.
He thinks it's
with the scaring thing.
He thinks the antics are funny.
His antics are funny. And he tells him that the gallery ordered 5 paintings and has commissioned him that. And they go out to celebrate.
Okay.
And his wife can't drink, but the two of them drink like a lot.
A lot, yeah. Because at this point, that's all he's doing. He's given up everything else. Right? Yeah. He's not doing the heroin. He's not smoking opium anymore. Right. He's not slamming cocaine.
Well, right. But he's just become like just a straight drunk now because.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he's and then they go out to celebrate, and then he goes he's in the restaurant, and he goes to the bathroom, and he's in there, and he's taking a leak, and then he decides to go take a shit, and the old. The wife's friend is in there. He's like, he's in there a long time, and she starts to think, is he in there like creating, So he says, I'm gonna go check on him, and he goes into the bathroom, and sure enough, when he gets in there, he sees a whole mural that he created on the wall, and then they have this moment where he's just like taken aback by all the art, and he just like looks at him and says, you're incredible, and they lock eyes, and then they start like making out in the bathroom.
Well, and the worst part is he's got poopy fingers, so so
he's trying not to touch him.
Well, no, he's totally caressing.
Really
he's
bad.
Caressing him, but his poopy fingers are on him.
Right.
But the most amazing thing about the art is that it's not just 2-dimensional. It's like there's literally so much shit that it's 3-dimensional.
Right.
Like it's coming off the stall, like the stainless steel wall. It's coming off. You can see it coming off the wall in 3 dimensions.
And then they end up just doing it right there in the stall.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
It's touch. It's
a touching moment with all this feces, and he
feces.
When it's over,
there's lots of open mouth kissing.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of tongue, and a lot of groping.
Yes, and feces.
And then mostly like a lot of jerking off.
And then the geez, how would they come out of the bathroom at that point?
Well, I mean, I think it would be uncomfortable no matter which way you came out.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be a long time. Because they were making love. They weren't
right.
They weren't fucking. They were making love.
Right. They come out, and they decide to just try and play it off, and his wife's like, what happened? And he was like, you don't understand it was beautiful. The what he did in there was just unbelievable. And she's like, well, can I see? And he's like, I don't know.
But he's like, you can see, but you won't see.
Right. And then she's like, is that feces like on the back of your neck? And he's like, I don't know. And then she like pulls his shirt back and looks. She's like, there's feces all down your back. Why is there feces on your back? And he's like, oh, there's no. And then she's like, you have feces around your mouth. And like she starts finding feces in all these places. And she starts to put 2 and 2 together, and she's like, what were you two doing in there? And she starts, and she's like, nothing, but she doesn't buy it, and she gets upset, and she runs out of the restaurant.
And she immediately gets a hepatitis shot, like right away.
She gets a hepatitis shot?
Well, yeah, because she's been exposed. There's too much feces involved in everything. I think
she gets a doctor's appointment and goes and gets a hepatitis shot.
She needs a hepatitis A, B, and C.
A, B, and
shot.
C.
Yeah, all three. This is where the marriage starts to fall
Then she
apart.
has the baby and puts it up for adoption.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't know what she does.
What happens to the shit artist?
Well, they live together happily ever after.
So he marries the gay friend.
He becomes a chartist.
He's a chartist. He marries the gay friend, and they live in Greenwich Village.
Yes, okay. San Francisco, I was going to say, but Greenwich Village is fine too. And they have a gallery in Soho.
Okay.
And she she raises the child. No, she gives up for adoption. No, what does she do?
Well, he writes a book called I Shat, What's the Matter with That? Which is a coffee table book of all of his shit collections.
Right.
And then she gives the kid up for adoption.
And then she's suddenly 80 years old, and we see her at a dock, and she's got the book in her hands, and she throws it into the ocean. And the movie ends.
The movie? What's the kid's name? The kid's name is Farnsworth. The Charter. I don't know. All right.
So 28 days later.
Yeah, I don't know where that movie went.
Yeah.
All
right. So
wow, that was disturbing.
That was okay.
Oh my god.
You keep in touch with us at doomsdaydoopydoo.com, right? That's the website. There's Twitter is doomsdaydoopy. That's it, Doomsday Doopy. Email doomsdaydoopydoo.com. Check out the RPG site, the RPG shows if you're interested. We have that Jumanji book where we actually roll up diseases that happen in real life. Then we have what am I missing, Chris? You could follow us, CJ Scannell on Twitter.
At CJ Scannell.
Yeah, I'm Nick R. Tweeds. And like I said, please tell a friend, leave a review. Sorry for missing the show.
Don't try and make up for by all this shit talk.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, go out there, be a chartist.
Yeah.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.